I think generally Americans value the privacy more. They socialize, but it's like you want to socialize or have your friends for dinner, you got to make an appointment 2 weeks in advance, right? Here, hey, what are you doing? Hey, come on out. If they have time, they come out. They don't, they say no. But people are much more open to just last minute type of arrangements. It's not like so formal, and the distance too. In LA, I don't know about other parts of America or Europe, but the distances are wide. I mean, to visit my friends or my kids, I drive an hour on the freeways in LA. Hour there, hour back. People kind of don't want to do that sometimes. They just kind of stay home. So I think that's a factor as well. But I think privacy, people just kind of value their own privacy more. I think people here, the amount of cafes or coffee shops in Da Nang will shock you. It's like every 300 meters is a coffee shop. And you ask the local Vietnamese, what do you do on weekends? Where do you hang out? Oh, we hang out in a coffee shop. We just talk and we stay there all day. So it's easy to socialize. There's places that easy to socialize. Like you don't have to say, where should we go? What should we do? And it's so cheap. One cup of coffee is like $2, less than $2. So cafes are very popular here. There's so much to do here. The second thing, of course, I love about Da Nang is the people. Super, super welcoming and friendly. There was an instance where I accidentally kind of fell down my motorbike and I was slow getting up, and 3 motorbikes stopped behind me, local Vietnamese people. 2 of them went over to pick up my bike. One guy came over and picked me up. So that doesn't happen in LA. You know what I'm saying? So just a example of how friendly people are here. So people is the second reason, and of course everybody knows the cost. A lot of us are here because the cost is so low, but the living standards are still pretty good. It's not like it's cheap and it's bad quality. You get you go to a steakhouse, you get the same steak you get in LA. You live in this apartment. I mean, look at this place. It's no worse than Santa Monica, in California. But guess what I'm paying for it? Probably 1/5 the cost of a similar apartment you have in the States. So because of the low cost, I can afford to go out, eat anything I like. And when I lived in LA, I have to watch my budget. You go out to eat, there's a 10% tax and a 20% tip on top of everything else. I mean, the tip and the tax itself would allow you in Vietnam to have a good meal. So the quality of life, the living standards, the people, the landscape of the city, all makes sense for me. And the thing is, when I first got here, I didn't know anybody. The ways I did it was, I happened to know this young Vietnamese girl who owned an English center, and she has an English club. So since I'm retired now, I donate a lot of my time, contribute my time to helping young Vietnamese learn English and business as well, because I have a wealth of business experience. So I do a lot of that. And through that, obviously you meet a lot of young people. And for people my age, it just makes sense. It keeps you young. But you're hanging around with young people all day long. So that's a big plus. So the social life, the friends I have here, integrated, mostly Vietnamese. Of course, I do have, foreign friends from UK and the States and all that, but it just makes life so much richer. I was born in Taiwan, left Taiwan when I was 5 years old with my family. So I moved to the States, grew up in the States, went through all the schooling and all that. And when I was about 28 years old, I had an opportunity to come to Asia. So went to Taiwan first and worked there for about 7 years. Worked for American Express, the credit card company. And met my wife there, got married, had a family. And then someone came knocking to say, hey, you want to go to China? The company was Nike. So I was very fortunate to be part of the Nike team that grew the business in China. And I was an expat in Shanghai for many years. And then, of course, other opportunities came up, like Unilever, Philips, all these multinational companies where I was executive in these companies, senior management. So I was very fortunate to also invest in many properties in China at the time, and had some good, investments. I retired about 6 years ago. Decided to go back to the States, where I haven't lived for nearly 30 years. Let's just say it's reverse culture shock in a way, because I don't have that many friends there anymore. My brother was there, but unfortunately he passed away from cancer. My kids are there, but you know how kids are. My grown kids are working and they got their own thing. So I was kind of lonely back there, you know. My daughter was saying, hey, Daddy, you're so lonely, I'm gonna loan you my 2 dogs so that I keep you company. So that literally she gave me her 2 dogs for a year and a half. But after a while, I just found it's just lonely. Before my brother passed away, he said, well, you know, I got a bunch of friends out in Thailand, retired guys, about your age or younger. Why don't you just hang out there, you know, check it out. So I went to Thailand, Pattaya, so I just moved there. Rented out my house, sold my car, you know, and moved out there. But after a year in Pattaya, I just didn't think that was a place that I wanted to be, because it wasn't really a good place to live, and you couldn't integrate with the locals. I had all these expat friends. I might as well live in America, but I just want to hang around with foreigners, right? So I said to myself, hey, where would you want to live? I can go back to Taiwan, where my father is still. He's old, you know, 93 years old. But I said, I want to be more adventurous. I want something new. So I looked at Philippines, Malaysia, and also Vietnam. You know, I was Googling Vietnam, Da Nang. And I saw these visuals of Da Nang, the beaches, the mountains and all that. It's a good site. It's also not a big city, which I preferred, because if you want to work and build a business, you want to be in a big city. But if you're retired, I think it's more suitable for me to live in a small city. Da Nang's 1.2 million people, but it's got everything a big city has. So I came out here, took a visit. I met somebody on Facebook, an expat, and he introduced me to Da Nang and said, well, this is what's going on. So I came out for a visit. I fell in love with Da Nang when I landed. At the airport, because the airport, by the way, guys, is right in the smack in the middle of the city. It's 10 to 12 minutes to anywhere in Da Nang. Foreigners, we have to leave every 3 months because the government says, you know, you only have a 3-month visa that's valid. So you have to renew every 3 months. So for traveling, it's just perfect. You know, especially if you go to the States after a long trip, you land in Da Nang and you're home in 15 minutes. The beaches, the rivers, the mountains, there's so many outdoor things to do here. Hoi An, which is 40 minutes, is a nice little ancient town that you can just hang out and just have a good time. Nice cafes, you know. Hue is the old imperial city, 2 hours from here. There's so much to do. There's so much to do here.
So would you say that it was pretty easy acclimating to Da Nang and, you know, finding your community?
Yeah, it's actually, it wasn't that long. When I first came here, I only knew one guy, the guy I met on Facebook who introduced Da Nang to me. He was an American guy who